Yeah, my name's Matt Burke. I saw when you guys were clapping, they introduced me, like, who's that? It's okay. I'm not a superstar quarterback. I don't have a awesome accent, and I don't play guitar. But I'm really, 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 really happy to be here. Let me tell you why, because I was lucky enough to be given the gift of the Catholic faith by my parents. My dad spent 4 years in a seminary. Lucky for me, he dropped out. But growing up, we were Catholic. And I guess like a lot of gifts that are given to you, maybe you don't fully appreciate them. But when I was growing up, Catholic school, we went to church every single Sunday. I mean, we would be on vacation, northern Minnesota, Canada, all these places. Now, yeah. I could have said Canada and southern Canada, but northern Minnesota. It's okay. And now, this is before you were born. We didn't have this internet thing. And we'd be like in the middle of nowhere doing stuff, and all of a sudden my dad would be like, we're going to Mass. And we'd be driving through, like it wasn't even a road, didn't know where and we'd pull up in a town, and there was the church, and we were 10 minutes early for Mass. It was like, how does he do that? We were really, really Catholic. And then, Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, then I went away to college. And I went to Harvard University. Okay, very good. But see, when I went to college, it kind of worked like this. Like I packed 2 duffel bags, and my parents took me to the airport, and they dropped me off, and they said, all right, good luck. My mom still couldn't believe it. She was convinced that the letter was for some other Matt Burke. She was convinced it wasn't me. So you're going to go to school, and we'll come see you when we can. Sounds good. So I was out at Harvard for a couple months. The first thing I did, or the first thing I didn't do, was I stopped going to Mass. That wasn't good, but you know, I'm sitting here, I'm 18 years old, I'm playing football at Harvard University. The world's telling me I'm doing pretty good, and I'm believing them, right? So a couple months go by, and then my mom comes out to visit, just my mom. And I meet her on campus, and she's really excited, she's really proud, still can't believe it. And I'm giving her a tour of the campus and, you know, showing her my dorm and all these great buildings they have out there. And then I get her in the middle of Harvard Yard, and I say, Mom, there's Widener Library. That's the biggest library in the world. They have the most books of any library in the world. Of course they do. And on this side of the yard is Memorial Church. I said, Mom, that's where I go to church every Sunday. You know where this is going? So I say, okay, Mom, I do a football practice. So I leave her. I go to practice. I meet up with her later that night for dinner. I say, Mom, how was the rest of your day? Oh, it was great. You know, walked around. Yeah, aren't those buildings beautiful? Yeah, the science building's awesome. And she said, yeah, we went into the church. Oh, it's great. It's beautiful, Mom. You should hear the music in there. It's really something. She said, yeah, they don't have Catholic Mass there. That would have been good to know before I told her that, right? But that really didn't change my path. You know, I'd go home, I'd fake it, I'd go to Mass when I was home, but I just turned my back on the faith in college. And then after college, I went to the NFL, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm doing really, really, really good. Everybody's telling me I'm doing really, really, really good. I'll get to the faith. I don't have time for that right now. I'm really busy. I got really important stuff I got to worry about. I'll get to that later. That was essentially my attitude. And thankfully, because God knows me because he made me, he took a 2x4, metaphorically speaking, and hit me in the head about a dozen times and said, hey, dummy, it's time to come back. And luckily I did, through a whole combination of factors. But maybe the best way I've heard it is this. We were getting ready to play a game in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't cheer Pittsburgh either. I'm glad nobody cheered. Because the Ravens and the Steelers, they don't like each other. We don't like Pittsburgh. No, Pittsburgh's okay. So of all places, I was going to Mass in Pittsburgh before a game. And the priest gave a homily. I don't remember very many homilies because I've been hit in the head a lot, obviously, in the face. And so he gave a homily. He was talking about the devil was with the little devil minions. You know, they were strategizing. They were strategizing how to keep people out of heaven. So the little devil minion said, well, we could tell them that God doesn't exist. The devil considered it for a second. He said, nah, he said, I think pretty much sooner or later people figure out that there is a God and that he does exist. I said, okay. So they said, well, we could tell them that it doesn't matter what they do while they're on earth. It just doesn't matter. God doesn't care. The devil said, I don't know, that doesn't really make a lot of sense either. Finally, they thought a little bit longer, and the meeting said, we got it. We'll convince people that they have all the time in the world. That was me. I felt like I had all the time in the world. That whenever I was ready, later on down the road, I'd figure it out and come back to faith. And what happened was I ended up wasting years and years and years. And thankfully, I came back to the faith. But for a while, I was just wondering. I mean, to be real honest with you, I had pretty much everything that this world had to offer, at least from a lineman's perspective. You know? I mean, I was playing football, I had money, I had fame. I was playing in my hometown, so they actually knew who I was. I had everything, but I know I was not fulfilled. That growling that Chris talked about, that was me. My stomach was growling, but I didn't know what I was hungry for. And as humans, isn't it just our nature? You know, we think we can figure it out. Not only do we make things more complicated, but we think that we can figure things out on our own. I mean, I had the answer the whole time. But it took me going out into the desert, into my personal desert, to get back on a journey for the truth. And ultimately, I made my faith my own. I took ownership in it. It wasn't my parents, it had to be me. And so when I say I'm really, really, really happy to be here, see, I'm an old guy, 38. I know. I aged faster than I matured, but I am 38. But I hear about things like, you know, young people, they're falling away from the Catholic Church. The Catholic faith is dying. I mean, normally I talk to rooms a lot bigger than this. It's only 10,000. That was a joke. You can laugh. It does my heart really, really good to see 10,000 college students here seeking, saying, yes, we are Catholic. We're proud to be Catholic. That makes me feel good. I'm in the 6 Kid Club as well. And when you become a parent, you definitely see things differently. And you worry a lot more. And you worry about the world. And you're always searching for hope and inspiration. Because as a parent, you worry. I'm, again, 38 years old, not really into the technology, but I was videoing some stuff earlier, the Taylor Swift song, sending it back to my kids. They were loving it. They're loving it. I can't wait till they can come to Seek. But good for you. Good for you for figuring it out right now. Today you've got it figured out. Today. You only have this much time, and every day gets a little less, and you don't know when it's up. But every day we need to ask ourselves, what do we seek? Who do we seek? And we can't afford to waste any time. Thank you very much. God bless you.